As we age, most of us would have some fear about getting dementia, but it turns out the disease is not inevitable. Professor Henry Brodity shared his insights yesterday during an address at the National Press Club.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a program that can delay the onset of dementia, possibly by a year or more. It's cost effective. For every year we can delay the onset, we reduce the numbers of people by 10%. Remember, $3.7 billion in direct costs? Reduction by 10%, $370 million saved.
Ita Buttrose was at the event yesterday in Canberra, and she's been an advocate on the issue for years. Ita, welcome to McKnight Tonight.
Thank you very much, Rob.
Okay, what was the main takeaway from yesterday?
Well, Henry Brodity is a co-director of the Centre for Healthy Brain Ageing here in Sydney, and he did an online questionnaire, I suppose, with 6,000 people, and they participated in a program in which they were educated, in which they were motivated, and in which their brain was activated. And the research showed that cognitive behaviour can be modified if people change their own behaviour, their lifestyle behaviour. So, for instance, you watch what you eat, you make sure your brain is activated, and they did all these things, and it's called Maintain Your Brain, and they showed that there was significant downfall in cases in people that had undertaken this research. So what it shows us is that by changing their own behaviour, people can delay the onset of dementia.
What kind of changes do we need to do, Ita?
Well, you've got to do physical exercise. You've got to challenge your brain. These are basic things that I've been talking about for years. Now we've got proof. Now we've got the proof in this significant online research of 6,000 people, the biggest online research we think ever done. And there are risk factors. So there's cholesterol, there's blood pressure, there's obesity, there's diabetes. So if you have any of these things, you're at risk, a higher risk. And so you need to take care of your health, and you need to bond with your doctor.
Look, you have been an advocate for Alzheimer's awareness for many, many years, decades, in fact. Why has this been such an important issue for you?
Well, because my father had vascular dementia, which is the second most common dementia after Alzheimer's. And vascular dementia can be changed by your behaviour, because it's heart linked, it's vascular. So heart. So what's good for your brain is good for your heart, or what's good for your heart is good for your brain. So Dad had vascular dementia, and I watched him decline, and it's traumatic watching someone you love decline. And I would go over to see him, and I'd say, "How are you today, Dad?" And he said, "Well, if you must know, I'm feeling depressed." And you think, "Oh, Dad, I can't do anything to help you." And it was really hard work. But he did stay in his own home, which he wanted to do. I don't know how we did it. I don't know how my brothers and I did it, but we did it. And, sometimes I'd go over and Dad would say things like, "Oh, the people last night, they were making such a noise." So I went out and I gave them what-ho. And I thought, my God, I hope he didn't. But no one ever complained about him, so I suspect he didn't.
Now, you and I could catch up occasionally. I've been to your house. You live by yourself and you're very self-sufficient. Is this because you've learnt the lessons of prevention and still been able to have independence as you get older? I'm sorry to use the O word.
That's quite all right. I don't mind being older. I just mind being elderly.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one.
Older is fine. Elderly is not. No, look, I live alone, as you said, but I'm busy and my brain is constantly challenged. I've just written a book which is being published in October, and that's quite a challenge to write a book. And so I'm always doing something. I'm learning something. I've been learning. I'm chair of the advisory group at the Centre for Healthy Brain Aging. So I'm always learning things about the brain. And I do think the brain is the last great medical frontier. So if we can conquer the brain and all that it means to all of us, then I think we will know the answer to many of the riddles that we haven't been able to successfully treat.
Well, I've always said people half your age would have trouble keeping up with you, but have you felt the effects of aging?
What do you mean, Rob?
Well, I mean, I'm 52 and I
please,
feel the effects of aging. Are there things you notice? I mean, you walk your dog, you do all these things. You basically you practice what you preach. So even with doing all that, are you feeling the effects of aging, or are you holding it off?
Well, I think you slow down. You can't, but you just sort of slow down, or you sort of think, well, it doesn't really matter if I don't do that today. I can do it tomorrow. You're
Yeah.
not in such a hurry, and you're calmer because you understand people so much better as you get older. So I don't know whether but I do exercise. I do exercise 3 times a week. I don't walk the dog any longer because I don't have a dog. She died of cancer. But I
Oh,
do.
that's right. Sorry, for some reason I thought you replaced Cleo. I should have known better.
No, you can't replace that dog. She was a
No.
one-off.
Yeah.
No, I don't walk the dog anymore. But I do exercise, and I do believe physical exercise is the key to everything. And my uncle turns 102 next
Goodness
month.
me.
Yes, I mean, he still exercises. He still goes for a walk every morning. He is fantastic. So he thinks physical exercise is the key too. And you have to do some sort of physical exercise. Your body needs to be used, and your brain loves physical exercise.
Yes, Amanda, I am listening to what Ita is saying. Amanda's looking at me. She keeps telling me I've got to do the exercise, Ita, and I'm paying attention. And she'll be like, "Oh, you don't listen to me, but when Ita Buttrose says it, you'll listen."
Well, I hope you do.
Well, I've got to stick around for a bit to have another steak meal with you. Funding, though, importantly, funding. One of the things the professor said yesterday is funding is important. The research is happening. This is something people fear when they get older, Ita, but I took away from this speech that we don't have the funds we need to continue the research.
Well, everybody's knocking on the government's door for money, and Henry recognises that and mentioned it yesterday. But dementia costs the economy so much money in lost days that if it would be money well spent. So what I think we need is a dementia awareness program, because the CEO of Dementia Australia was at the lunch yesterday, and she said their research tells them that people don't know enough about dementia. Now you think, God, they reckon most people now know someone with dementia, but they still don't know enough about the disease. So I think we need a major awareness program of dementia, that it's not a normal part of aging, that there are things you can do and things you can't do and things you should do. And just to say to people, now be aware of dementia. It's not the end of your life. It may change your life, but you can still live a very fulfilled life, even if you have dementia. And everybody's dementia is different. I mean, there's no one size fits all, because everybody's different. So what happened to my father wouldn't necessarily be the same as what happened to somebody else whose father had vascular dementia. Dad's dementia was his own.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting what you said there. Dementia is not a part of aging. That's fascinating.
No,
Ita?
not a normal part of aging at all.
Yeah. Well, Ita Buttrose, I hope this won't be the last time you join us on McKnight Tonight. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Pleasure, Rob.
Fun, insightful interviews from a washed-up producer with nothing to lose. Tonight. but night to night.